Hey everyone, welcome back to another Joy English lesson. Today, we're going to dive into IELTS Speaking Part 1 and explore the topic of chocolate. This lesson is broken down into 3 parts. First, we'll listen to an example conversation between an examiner and an examinee. That showcases a Band 9 model answer and some useful vocabulary and phrases to help you boost your speaking test score from 6 to 9. Second, I'll break down these vocabularies and phrases, explaining how you can incorporate them into your own responses. For the last part of today's lesson, I'll be sharing the key words and phrases we've covered so far. You're free to grab your pen and paper if you want to take some notes. Just skip ahead to the 3rd section and get ready to study these essentials. Now let's get started.
Do you like eating chocolate? Why or why not?
Yes, I do enjoy eating chocolate. In fact, it's one of my favorite treats. There's something about the rich taste and smell that just makes me feel happy. Plus, it's a great way to reward myself after a long day. Of course, moderation is key. Too much sugar isn't good for anyone. But as an occasional treat, I think chocolate is definitely worth indulging in.
How often do you eat chocolate?
To be honest, I don't eat chocolate that frequently. Maybe once or twice a week if I'm being completely truthful. It's not something I make a habit of eating regularly, but when I do have it, I try to enjoy every moment. Usually, it'll be on special occasions like birthdays or holidays, or sometimes as a treat after dinner with friends. It's definitely not a daily thing for me, though.
Did you often eat chocolate when you were a kid?
Yes, I did eat chocolate quite frequently when I was a kid. My parents would sometimes buy me a small bar or some chocolates from the shop near our house as a treat. I also remember helping my mom make traditional sweets and treats during holidays like Christmas, where we'd have lots of chocolates and other sweet things to enjoy. It's a happy memory for me, and it's great that I still get to indulge in chocolate every now and then.
Why do you think chocolate is popular around the world?
I think chocolate is incredibly popular around the world because of its universal appeal. For one, it's a treat that transcends cultures and age groups. Kids love it. Adults indulge in it. It's just something that brings people together. Plus, it's a sensory experience that combines rich flavors with a satisfying texture, making it hard to resist. And let's be honest, who doesn't feel happy when they eat chocolate? It's a mood booster, and I think that's part of its enduring appeal. Overall, I believe chocolate's popularity is due to a combination of factors: taste, nostalgia, and the simple joy it brings us all.
What's your favorite flavor of chocolate?
My favorite flavor of chocolate is definitely milk chocolate. I just love the creamy texture and the sweetness that comes with it. There's something about the way the milk complements the rich, velvety chocolate that makes my heart happy. Plus, it's a classic favorite for me. I've been enjoying milk chocolate since I was a kid. It's still my go-to choice whenever I'm in the mood for a chocolate treat.
Do you think it is good to use chocolate as gifts to others?
I think using chocolate as gifts can be a wonderful idea. Not only do people generally enjoy the taste of chocolate, but it's also a thoughtful and indulgent treat that shows you care. Plus, it's often a universal favorite, so you're likely to get a smile from whoever receives it. As with any gift, it depends on the occasion and the person. But in general, I think chocolate is a great choice for showing appreciation or celebration. It's just a nice way to make someone feel special. Yes, I do enjoy eating chocolate.
Do enjoy also means to take pleasure in something. When describing your hobbies or interests in part 1 of the test, you could use this phrase to show enthusiasm and positivity. For example, I do enjoy playing guitar in my free time because it helps me relax.
In fact, it's one of my favorite treats.
Treats. You can use this word to describe small pleasures or indulgences that bring you joy. When discussing your daily routine or leisure activities in part 1, you could mention something you consider a treat and explain why it's special to you. For example, I like to treat myself to a good book on the weekend because it helps me unwind.
There's something about the rich taste and smell that just makes me feel happy.
Rich taste means a strong, intense flavor. When discussing food or drinks in part 1, you could use this phrase to describe your favorite snacks or beverages. For example, the rich taste of that coffee is just amazing.
Plus, it's a great way to reward myself after a long day.
Reward. Something that brings you satisfaction or pleasure after achieving a goal. When discussing your goals and achievements in part 1, you can mention something you consider a reward for reaching a milestone. For example, earning my degree was a great reward for all my hard work.
Of course, moderation is key. Too much sugar isn't good for anyone.
Moderation. A balance or restraint in doing something. When discussing habits or routines in part 1, you could mention something where moderation is key. For example, I try to exercise moderately because I don't want to overdo it and risk injury.
But as an occasional treat, I think chocolate is definitely worth indulging in.
An occasional treat. Something that is enjoyed infrequently or as a special occasion. When discussing your daily routine or leisure activities in part 1, you could mention something that is an occasional treat and explain why it's special to you. For example, having a home-cooked meal on holidays is an occasional treat for me. Indulging in. Giving yourself permission to enjoy something without guilt. When discussing your leisure activities or hobbies in part 1, you could mention something where you indulge in it without guilt. For example, I love indulging in a good novel on a rainy day. It's my way of relaxing.
To be honest, I don't eat chocolate that frequently.
Frequently. Often or regularly. When describing your daily activities in part 1, you could mention something you do frequently, such as I frequently visit my family during the holidays.
Maybe once or twice a week if I'm being completely truthful.
Truthful. Honest and accurate. When describing a situation or person in part 1, you could mention something that requires honesty, for example. She was being truthful when she said she didn't have time for the project.
It's not something I make a habit of eating regularly, but when I do have it, I try to enjoy every moment.
Make a habit of eating regularly. To eat something at the same time every day or week. When describing your daily routine part 1, you could mention something you do regularly. For example, I make it a habit to go for a walk during my lunch break.
Usually, it'll be on special occasions like birthdays or holidays. or sometimes as a treat after dinner with friends.
On special occasions, on important or memorable days, like birthdays or holidays. When describing your cultural background or celebrations in Part 1, you could mention something that happens on special occasions. For example, we always have a big family dinner on special occasions like Christmas.
It's definitely not a daily thing for me, though.
A daily thing. Something that is done every day. When describing your daily activities in Part 1, you could mention something that is not a daily thing for you. For example, I don't usually exercise during the week because I'm too busy with work.
It's a happy memory for me, and it's great that I still get to indulge in chocolate every now and then.
Happy memory. A fond and joyful recollection from the past. When describing a positive experience in Part 1, you could mention something that brings back happy memories. For example, I have many happy memories of traveling with my family during summer breaks.
I think chocolate is incredibly popular around the world because of its universal appeal.
Universal appeal. A quality that makes something liked and appreciated by people all over the world. When describing a phenomenon that transcends cultures in Part 1, you could mention something with universal appeal. For example, music has a universal appeal that can bring people together from all over the world.
For one, it's a treat that transcends cultures and age groups. Kids love it. Adults indulge in it. It's just something that brings people together.
Transcends. Goes beyond or surpasses something else. When describing an achievement that stands out from others in Part 1, you could mention something that transcends. For example, the new museum's architecture transcends modern design trends. Age groups. Categories based on age or generational identity. When describing a demographic trend in Part 1, you could mention something that involves age groups. This phrase is useful when discussing demographics, target audiences, or social trends. For example, the gaming industry has seen significant growth among young adults and middle-aged professionals.
Plus, it's a sensory experience that combines rich flavors with a satisfying texture, making it hard to resist.
Sensory. Relating to the senses, sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. When describing a memorable experience in Part 1, you could mention the sensory aspects. For example, the sensory experience of walking in nature is a great way to reduce stress. Texture. The feel or consistency of something. In IELTS speaking, you can use texture to describe how something feels or looks. This word is useful when discussing physical sensations, materials, or objects. For example, the soft texture of the pillow made me feel relaxed. Making it hard to resist. Something that is so appealing or enjoyable that people can't help but be attracted to it. In IELTS speaking, you can use making it hard to resist to describe how something has an irresistible appeal. This phrase is useful when discussing desires, temptations, or attractions. For example, the delicious smell of freshly baked cookies makes it hard to resist taking a bite.
It's a mood booster, and I think that's part of its enduring appeal.
Mood booster. Something or someone that improves one's emotional state. In IELTS speaking, you can use mood booster to describe something that has a positive impact on our emotions. This word is useful when discussing mental health, stress relief, or personal growth. For example, practicing yoga every morning is my way to boost my mood and start the day feeling refreshed.
Overall, I believe chocolate's popularity is due to a combination of factors: taste, nostalgia, and the simple joy it brings us all.
Due to. Because of something. In IELTS speaking, you can use due to indicate a cause and effect relationship between two things. This phrase is useful when discussing reasons, explanations, or justifications. For example, I missed the deadline due to unexpected traffic. Combination of factors. A mix of different things that contribute to a particular outcome or result. In IELTS speaking, you can use combination of factors to describe how multiple elements come together to produce an effect. This phrase is useful when discussing complex situations, explanations, or justifications. For example, a combination of hard work and good luck led to her success. Nostalgia. A sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past. In IELTS speaking, you can use nostalgia to describe a bittersweet emotional response to something from the past. This word is useful when discussing personal experiences, memories, or emotions. For example, watching old movies brings back nostalgic memories.
There's something about the way the milk complements the rich, velvety chocolate that makes my heart happy.
Velvety. Smooth and soft to the touch like velvet fabric. In IELTS speaking, you can use velvety to describe a smooth or silky sensation. This word is useful when discussing textures, materials, or sensory experiences. For example, the velvety texture of the chocolate cake was divine.
Plus, it's a classic favorite for me. I've been enjoying milk chocolate since I was a kid.
A classic favorite. Something that is widely liked and has stood the test of time. In IELTS speaking, you can use a classic favorite to describe something that is universally popular and has been enjoyed for a long time. This phrase is useful when discussing cultural phenomena, traditions, or personal preferences. For example, the classic novel Pride and Prejudice remains a timeless favorite among readers.
It's still my go-to choice whenever I'm in the mood for a chocolate treat.
Go-to choice. A preferred option that is often chosen due to its reliability or familiarity. In IELTS speaking, you can use go-to choice to describe something that is consistently chosen because it's reliable, familiar, or satisfying. This phrase is useful when discussing habits, routines, or personal preferences. For example, yoga has become my go-to choice for unwinding after a long day. In the mood. Having a desire or craving for something. In IELTS speaking, you can use in the mood to describe being in a particular emotional state that drives your behavior. This phrase is useful when discussing cravings, desires, or emotional responses. For example, I'm in the mood for some sushi tonight.
Not only do people generally enjoy the taste of chocolate, but it's also a thoughtful and indulgent treat that shows you care.
Thoughtful. Showing consideration and care for someone or something. In IELTS speaking, you can use thoughtful to describe showing concern and attention. This word is useful when discussing relationships, kindness, or gestures of goodwill. For example, my best friend is always thoughtful enough to get me the perfect gift on my birthday. Indulgent. Giving into a desire or pleasure, often without worrying about consequences. In IELTS speaking, you can use indulgent to describe allowing yourself to enjoy something. This word is useful when discussing personal preferences, habits, or relaxation techniques. For example, after a long week, I love to indulge in a rich and creamy dessert.
As with any gift, it depends on the occasion and the person. But in general, I think chocolate is a great choice for showing appreciation or celebration.
a feeling of gratitude and respect for something or someone. In IELTS speaking, you can use appreciation to describe recognizing and valuing something. This word is useful when discussing positive emotions, relationships, or achievements. For example, my math teacher always showed appreciation for our efforts by offering extra help when we needed it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more episodes.